Okay, everybody, we're back here at Sub-Zero Specialist. We have a 650 Sub-Zero here that has some broken leveling feet. You can see here, this has come apart. Same thing over here, this is a little loose, and the frame is bent. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these base off and repair these and weld these mounting bolts back in there so the feet are strong and solid. Okay, so let's get our equipment and tools and get started. Okay, let's start by removing these Phillips head screws here. It's hard to see. Okay, and we have it. Gather up all the screws. The next thing we're going to do here is, you can see in there, that nut was at one time pressed in and tack welded. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it out, we're going to flatten it out and make sure that the surface is straight. Then we're going to re-weld that nut in there and change this leveling foot, because you can see it's all bent up, crooked. Alright, so that's our next project. Okay, now I'm going to remove this rod which is used to adjust the rear leveling feet. You see that when it goes in and out, it actually pulls the rollers up and down like this. But we're going to get this out of the way because make it easier for us to tack weld that. Okay, leave that in there, and then we'll straighten this rod out before we put it back in. Okay, so now you can see how disfigured this frame is here. It's been bent up and pushed in, and here's the nut that was tack welded or pressed in, and that goes in here like this. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to flatten this all out and make it nice and even, then we're going to push this nut back in there, and then we're going to tack weld it, and that should take care of that. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, in the next step, I put this little block of aluminum underneath and put this in a vise. And I took an old screwdriver so I could get it in there, and I started pounding down to try to flatten that out as much as possible. And then after that, you can see it's flat. So I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to put a bolt through here and tighten it up to see if I can straighten it out a little bit more before we put the nut in there. Okay, so now we're just going to tighten up this bolt just to try to flatten this out as much as possible. Okay, we took the bolt out, the nut, and that flattened it out a little bit more. You use this little straight edge here to see it's nice and flat. So the next project, or part of this project, would be to reattach this nut. Just have to file this down a little bit to get this through here. Then we will put a bolt through here and clamp it down tightly and try to tack weld it. Alright, that's next. Okay, so now we got this nut back in there. You can see it's a little loose, but the plate's flat, the nut's back in there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tack weld this, keep it in place. Okay, here we've just finished MIG welding this piece nut in here. So I probably should have used a TIG welder. It would have given me a smaller and neater weld. But since it's not in an area that is going to be seen, just basically there for strength so that it doesn't break again. So now we're just going to shoot a quick coat of flat black on here and then put it back on the refrigerator. Okay, we remounted this base now back onto the refrigerator and put the leveling foot in here. So that's that. On the next one, on this side, we're not going to take the base off and re-weld this. This nut is basically in there. It's just that the frame is kind of bent in, so we're going to straighten that out without having to take this thing all apart. Okay, on this side, what we made here is got a 1/2-inch piece of aluminum bar here. Drilled a 7/8 hole in there. I'm sorry, it's a 1/2-inch hole, and used this 3/8 by 16 bolt, which is the same as the leveling feet, and just took this breaker bar and tightened this all the way up, and it flattened everything out. It pulled the nut back straight, so now, and it's in there solid, so that we don't have to take this piece off. But this side is now done, and that's how you fix the leveling feet. Now in our next project, we're going to disassemble this refrigerator and clean it up and get it ready for sale. Thanks for watching.